A journey to the wild. Life in the city was always the same. Every morning, we woke up early. Cars filled the streets, and people moved fast. Everyone was in a hurry. The noise never stopped. I worked all day, and my wife was always tired. My two children had no time to play. They had school, homework, and no time for fun. We had everything we needed, but something was missing. We needed a break. We needed to breathe. One evening I sat with my family. I looked at them and said, "Let's go on a trip." My wife raised her eyebrows. "A trip?" she asked. "Yes," I said, "a long trip away from the city, away from the noise." My children looked at me with wide eyes. "Where will we go?" my daughter asked. "Somewhere quiet," I said. "Somewhere beautiful." My wife thought for a moment. Then she smiled. "I like this idea," she said. The children cheered. The next day, we packed our bags. We took clothes, food, water, and a tent. We packed blankets and a small stove. We wanted to be ready for everything. Early in the morning, we left the city. The buildings became smaller behind us. The cars and the noise disappeared. The road was long and empty. Trees stood tall on both sides. The air smelled fresh and clean. We opened the windows and let the wind touch our faces. I felt something I had not felt in a long time. Peace. After many hours, we reached a forest. The trees were big and green. They covered the sky like a roof. The birds sang in the branches. A river flowed nearby, clear and cold. The air was fresh and the ground was soft. We stopped the car and got out. My children ran around, laughing. They picked up leaves and small stones. My wife looked around and took a deep breath. "This is beautiful," she said. "It's perfect," I replied. We found a place to camp near the river. We worked together to set up the tent. My son helped me with the poles. My daughter held the ropes. My wife placed the blankets inside. Soon our tent was ready. We sat by the river and watched the water move. The sound was soft and calming. I put my hand in the water. It was cold, but it felt nice. My wife sat beside me and smiled. "This is what we needed," she said. I nodded. "Yes," I said. "This is home for now." That night we made a fire. The flames danced and the wood cracked. We sat close, feeling its warmth. Above us, the sky was full of stars. They were bright and endless. My son pointed up. "So many stars," he said. "Yes," I said. "More than we can count." We watched them in silence. The forest was quiet. No cars, no people, no noise. Just us and the wild. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. The morning was cool and fresh. The sun rose slowly behind the trees. Birds sang in the branches and the river flowed gently. I stretched my arms and took a deep breath. The air was clean. It smelled like trees and water. My wife and children were still sleeping. The city felt far away like a dream from another life. I smiled. This was the peace we had been looking for. So my wife woke up. She stepped outside the tent and looked around. "It's so quiet," she said. "No cars, no people, just nature." I nodded. "It feels good," I said. We sat by the river and listened to the sounds of the forest. A small rabbit ran past us. Birds flew from tree to tree. Everything was alive, but nothing was loud. It was a different kind of life, a better one. My children woke up and ran to the river. They splashed water on their faces and laughed. "This water is so cold," my daughter said. "But feels nice," my son added. They played with small stones, throwing them into the water. Each splash made them laugh louder. I watched them and felt happy in the city. They were always busy. Here they were free. We made breakfast over the fire. We cooked eggs and bread. The smell was warm and inviting. We sat on a blanket and ate together. The food tasted better here. Maybe it was the fresh air, or maybe it was the joy of being together. My wife looked at the trees and smiled. "I could stay here forever," she said. I knew what she meant. There was something special about this place. After breakfast, we decided to explore. We walked along the river, stepping over rocks and fallen leaves. The trees were tall and the path was soft under our feet. We saw butterflies and colorful birds. My children ran ahead, looking at everything with wonder. "Look at this big tree," my son shouted. "It's so old." My daughter picked up a bright yellow leaf. "This is the most beautiful leaf I've ever seen," she said. As we walked, we heard the sound of water. We followed the sound and found a waterfall. The water fell from the rocks into a small pool. It was clear and blue. My children ran to the edge. "Can we swim?" my son asked. I touched the water. It was cold, but refreshing. "Yes," I said, "but only for a little while." They jumped in, laughing and splashing. My wife and I sat on a rock watching them. The day passed slowly in the best way. No rush, no stress, just nature and family. The sun moved across the sky and the light changed through the trees. We felt calm, happy and free. This was the life we had been missing. The sun was high in the sky, the air was warm, and the forest was full of life. Birds flew between the trees and insects buzzed in the grass. The sound of the river was soft and peaceful. We sat on the rocks, letting the cool breeze touch our faces. My wife leaned back and sighed. "This place feels like a dream," she said. I smiled. "A dream we don't want to wake up from," I replied. My children were still playing in the water. They laughed and splashed, their faces full of joy in the city. They were always busy with school and homework. Here, they had no worries. They collected small stones and made little towers by the water. "Look at this one," my daughter said, holding up a smooth round stone. "It's perfect," my son nodded. "Let's take it with us," he said. After a while, we decided to move on. We packed our things and followed a small path through the trees. The ground was covered in leaves, and the air smelled like earth. Sunlight came through the branches, making golden patterns on the ground. We walked slowly, enjoying every step. My wife held my hand. "I never knew I needed this," she said softly. I squeezed her hand. "Me too," I said. As we walked, we saw a deer in the distance. It stood still, watching us with gentle eyes. My children gasped. "It's so beautiful," my daughter whispered. We didn't move, afraid to scare it away. After a moment, the deer turned and disappeared into the trees. My son smiled. "I will never forget this," he said. Neither would I. We found a small clearing and decided to rest. We sat on a fallen log and drank water. The forest was quiet except for the sound of birds. A butterfly landed on my wife's hand. She watched it with wonder. "Everything here feels so peaceful," she said. "It's like time moves slower." I nodded. Maybe this is how life should be. I spoke. After resting, we continued walking. The trees became taller and the air felt cooler. We followed the sound of birds until we reached a high hill. From the top, we could see the whole forest. Green trees stretched as far as the eye could see. My children stood in awe. "It's like a sea of trees," my son said. My daughter took a deep breath. "I wish we could stay here forever," she said. As the sun began to set, we made our way back. The light turned golden and the shadows grew longer. The forest felt magical in the evening glow. We walked slowly, taking in every sight and sound. This place was special. It was more than a trip. It was a new way of living. The sky turned orange and pink as the sun lowered behind the trees. A soft wind moved through the leaves, making them whisper. The forest felt different in the evening, quieter, calmer. We walked back toward our camp, listening to the sounds around us. A distant owl hooted and crickets began to sing. My daughter held my hand. "The forest feels bigger at night," she said. I nodded. "It's a different world after sunset," I said. When we reached our campsite, we gathered wood for a fire. My son helped me stack the logs while my wife and daughter arranged the blankets. Soon the flames rose, warm and bright. The light flickered on the trees, and the shadows danced. My wife handed out warm tea from a small pot. We sat together, feeling the heat of the fire. "This is the best team I've ever had," my wife said. I smiled. "Everything tastes better in nature," I said. My children lay on their backs, looking at the sky. The stars were bright, shining like tiny lanterns. "Look, a shooting star," my son said, pointing up. "Make a wish," my daughter added. We all closed our eyes for a moment. I didn't need a wish for anything. I already had everything I wanted. My family, this trip, and the peace of nature. The fire crackled as we told stories. My wife spoke about her childhood in a small village. My children listened with wide eyes. "Did you climb trees when you were little?" my son asked. My wife laughed all the time, she said. "I was faster than my brothers." My daughter grinned. "I want to climb a tree tomorrow," she said. "I'll help you," I told her. As the night grew cooler, we wrapped ourselves in blankets. The forest was dark, but we were not afraid. The fire kept us warm, and the stars watched over us. My wife leaned her head on my shoulder. "I never knew life could be this simple and beautiful," she whispered. I held her close. "Me neither," I said. Maybe we were too busy to notice. One by one, my children closed their eyes. Their breaths became slow and steady. My wife smiled as she watched them sleep. "They are so happy here," she said. "They have never been this free." I looked at my son and daughter, peaceful in their blankets. "Neither have we," I said softly that night. I stayed awake for a long time, listening to the sounds of the forest, the wind in the trees, the distant call of an owl, the quiet breath of my family. Everything felt right. Everything felt like home. The morning was cool and quiet. A light mist covered the trees, making everything look soft. The fire had turned to warm embers, glowing faintly. Birds sang in the branches, welcoming the new day. I sat up and stretched. My wife and children were still asleep, their faces peaceful. I watched them for a moment, feeling grateful. This trip had given us something we didn't know we needed. I walked to the river. letting the cold air wake me up. The water was clear and calm, reflecting the sky. I washed my face, feeling the cool touch of nature. The city felt far away, like another life. Here, the world was simple. No noise, no rush, just the gentle rhythm of nature. I closed my eyes and listened to the sound of the flowing water. My wife joined me a few minutes later. She knelt beside the river, dipping her hands into the cool water. "This place feels like a dream," she said softly. I nodded. "A dream I don't want to leave," I replied. She smiled and looked at the trees. "Maybe we don't have to," she whispered. Her words stayed in my mind. Maybe she was right. The children woke up, rubbing their eyes. We made breakfast over the fire, warming tea and toasting bread. My daughter found wild berries nearby. "Can we eat these?" she asked. My wife checked them and nodded. "Yes, they're safe." We all tasted them. They were sweet and fresh, better than anything from a store. My son grinned. "Nature gives us everything," he said. He was right. After breakfast, we decided to climb a small hill. The path was narrow, covered in soft leaves. Sunlight came through the trees, creating golden patterns. My daughter held my hand as we walked. "Do you think there's a good view up there?" she asked. I smiled. "Let's find out," I said. Step by step, we climbed higher, feeling excited. At the top, we stopped and stared. Below us, the forest stretched endlessly. The river looked like silver in the sunlight. The sky was bright blue with soft white clouds. My wife took my hand. "This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen," she whispered. My children stood quietly, taking in the view. At that moment, I knew this journey had changed us forever. The sun rose higher, warming the air. A gentle breeze moved through the trees, making the leaves dance. We sat on the hilltop, enjoying the quiet beauty around us. My son picked up a small rock and turned it in his hands. "I want to remember this place forever," he said. I smiled. "You will," I told him. "Some places stay in our hearts." My daughter held a bright leaf. "Can we take some things with us?" she asked. My wife nodded. A few small things to remind us of this trip. After a while, we made our way back to camp. The walk felt different now. The trees seemed taller, the colors brighter. It was as if we were seeing everything for the first time. My wife held my hand. "I don't want to leave," she said softly. I looked around at the beauty surrounding us. "Maybe we don't have to," I whispered back at camp. We packed our things slowly. No one wanted to rush. The children folded their blankets, quiet but thoughtful. The fire was out, leaving only soft gray ash. My wife looked at me. "This place changed us," she said. I nodded. "It showed us what really matters," I said. As we left, we took one last look at the forest. The trees stood tall, the river kept flowing, and the wind carried the scent of earth and leaves. My children waved goodbye as if the forest could see them. I took a deep breath and smiled. This wasn't just a trip. It was a new beginning. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more English stories. Take care, everyone.